say actually overall, like this one's even maybe more balanced than the spawn to the last one. Especially when I look around for things like boars and whatever. We haven't got any ridiculous god stack. Except for Shiki to the west of his base. It's unfortunate he's the HRE player, so unlikely he's going to be using those double boars that are safe to his left side. I don't think there's any other kind of standout resources that I'm looking at and going, damn, you could easily exploit that for a big lead.
Yeah, the thing I'm looking at right now is how little of a choke point it is DeMusliM and Beastyqt have in between them towards the hill. It's only 1 or 2 choke points. Much easier to deny entry towards that top of the hill area by FYF than the other way around. Might not become a factor, but could easily be something that influences things, especially if FYF gets the sacred side control initially. Look at that.
So someone else to look at is like, if you check north side, this is kind of outrageous. Like MarineLorD's playing as Roos, and he got the closest spawn to a corner. Which, I don't know if he wants to do it. Some players do, some players don't. But it means that he can quickly run north and drop a hunting cabin in the corner for maximum goal gains.
No, you don't. You wait for the high trade house. You gotta believe. We gotta see a record on the high trade house.
Maybe. But like, it's still absurd though, right? Like, if you check the other corners, no player is as close to a corner than he is. Not even Shiki in the south corner. Like, he's further away. So... I don't know, like maybe that's just a little gift to the Roos after all the little nerfs that they've received. I say little nerfs. When you receive them all at once, it's probably not a little nerf, you know, that's like when I bring the force of a million taps of a baseball bat at once, it's probably going to hit you pretty damn hard, right?
MarineLorD already had a hunting cabin set up. I'm curious at the gold income of that, especially because I'm not sure if XBGD actually has... Or, well, I think it's better to go with Wu Yu because that's easier to pronounce for us.
Wu Yu, yeah, you just go Wu Yu. If those wondering, the guy in green, his name, it means Wu Yu. The rest are pretty easy. Was that 38? Yeah, it was 38. Like, pretty damn good. He did already get to tier 2 bounty, of course.
Oh, no.
So.
What is that hunting cabin, though? Hello? I'm disappointed.
He went for the baby wood line.
Yeah, if that's anything beyond 25, I'm gonna be surprised.
What? No, it's 50. Like,
what?
I'm kind of curious why though, because well, this feels like you got jabaied by I don't even know what. Because if you check his base, like the weird part is that the primary wood line is the same distance away as that secondary wood line, give or take a tile.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
No, don't. That's not fetish over the spot. I'm saying like you just walk out straight away and you drop a hunting cabin. Like, you're maybe walking 1 extra tile maximum for that. And also, you're going to drop a wooden fortress anyway, right? Because it's just such a value play. You're eventually going to have a defense there. But a bit surprised by this choice coming out from Wu Yu. Wondering what informed him. Like, maybe you get the hunting cabin built quicker this way because your villagers start at the south side of the TC. So that means you get the second scout out faster. That's the only thought process I can apply as to why you choose here instead.
Maybe it was just a quick reaction. If you take a look at this map, sometimes you spawn further away from the edges. And if they really want to play safe and you have to make a quick decision, he might be like, okay, I need to play this safe. I need to drop the lumber camp quickly. I go for the closer forest. And only after did he realize that, oh shoot, I could have dropped it on the edge because the distance was essentially identical.
That's fair, but like my thought process is if you check vision, I think you should be able to see that tree line from your initial spawn, right? Like your TC's range should maybe cover that. I mean, we can double check that. Like sometimes town center vision range can be a bit deceptive. But man, this burn down. Oh my god, this is so annoying.
It's annoying.
Oh my,
it's gonna get prepared.
Really? Wow. Okay, yeah, he got scammed. He 100% got scammed. Look how close he was to seeing the tree line. That's pain.
And now he's making lumber camp, so at the end of the day, he ends up at the same place where he should have started. Yeah. It's a bit of a difference maker because now that hunting cabin is rather disappointing compared to what MarineLorD has, and that is 20 passive gold per minute we're talking about.
Look at the bounty difference as well. It's 210 plus, 210 versus 500 plus, right? Like MarineLorD is a mile ahead right now. The only upside they have is that they are annoying the crap out of Beastyqt right now. He's probably reeing harder than an angry gorilla at this stage. Like, I don't know how many houses they burnt down in the end. Yeah, they're still doing it.
Yeah, it's annoying. There's a spearman out there for Demu who's like helping out. I can just imagine what's going on in the team chat right now between them. It's like, Beastyqt, come on, bring some spearmen to me. It's like, looks like he's going to keep all the houses alive though.
Honestly, you know what? He's playing a mini game right now. Just put the fires out. It feels like. It reminds me of the show match they had at Wall where they just kept setting fire to all the Malians' houses. It's like, all right, gotta go put these out again. Oh man.
Demu's got a spearman chilling there on the gold mine in stand ground. He didn't want to run into the TC range, so he's like, well, stand ground is gonna do.
Like, no, it's the bait. He's standing there long enough that like, oh, this is one of our spearmen here to defend us. Like, yeah, boys, I got ya. As in, I gotcha. Stabs them down. Actually, if he stabs the right villager there.
Oh, wrong villager being healed.
Damn. He just about gets away with it. I think that was 1 HP as well. The scout could have made the difference there.
I wonder if this was a bait though. It might have been a bait to make Demu commit, and then they picked off the spear. Now, looking at MarineLorD, one of the interesting things with the amount of gold that he has gotten is that he can go for quite a few nights without having to touch the golden gate or any kind of gold mining. Or, with the amount of gold he has, he could even easily consider just selling and then going castle quickly.
I think in this game, like, I'm expecting him to be a greedy boy just because of how big the map is. Realistically, you could go archers, but like it's such a big map, and by the time you start going archers, like you're not going to scale quick enough to stop the HR answer coming out. So probably we just see him go up to castle. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe DeMusliM's considering going like second TC behind this as well. They just play multi-greed. Just got to be careful to balance it. Like if you go a little bit too greedy here, you're going to offer up an opportunity for FYF to rush one of you. Night Clash coming in. Wooden Fortress is being rushed up quick enough here. Body blocks will lead to one of the scouts going down, but it's worth it. Like, it gets the Wooden Fortress up, right? So now you've got the gold, you've got the boar. This is where MarineLorD will probably look to be fully greed.
It's not just the boar. It's also the deer carcasses right next to it. It's also the position. It's a forward tower giving you a lot of vision. It's going to alert you on aggression coming your way. And it's even on the gold. So if you need to start mining gold, it's also going to help. A lot of the barracks placed there as well. So if there is night aggression coming from Vuyu, you could still pop out a couple of spearmen, hold it off, slow it down. And down south, we got some walls being rushed up by Beastyqt. Yeah. Some of that is blocked by a scout though, but that should be no issue for Beasty to deal with.
Yeah, we're not going to get any insane amount of greedy trade, because I believe we did get Madrissa from the Ottoman player, so DeMusliM isn't thinking of going trade and then them doubling up. But this might allow Beasty to consider some trade himself. I don't think it's his first, like, fort, right? Like, go for something else, get some units in the field first, which is why we're seeing from Garrison quickly being rushed up. Also, Mehmed Imperial Armor. Yeah, okay, this is going to be a triple castle up. And I don't think FYF were fully prepped for this, because it looks like Wuyu hard invested into knights.
Yeah, now, it might have been just the game plan from the beginning that you use your Rus as a semi-French-style civilization for Wuyu, and then you support the fast castle from Shiki and Flash with that, because the game plan here is clear. You already have the Burgrave Flood, and you also have the Farimba garrison coming up, so the likely plan for Flash and Shiki is to push the south with what is almost an all-in style approach, and the best way for the Rus to support that might actually be just to full commit to knights.
Yeah, my issue is just, like, yeah, the Rus player, he has to cross the map to join this, right? Even for Flash, that Malian player is pretty far away. Farimba Garrison also delayed. Like, he's going to be going for static comp units to run across. I hope we're not going to see Musafadi warriors out of Flash here, because you don't really have a justifiable reason to build them yet. And if you do try to run them across the field, like, I'm pretty sure Beasty can hold against the full composite right now with just, say, like, archers and maybe javelin throws.
He's got defender's advantage as well.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
Was the first wave coming out. It's going to be the Musafadi warriors. Because there's only
men at arms though.
Yeah, because, well, the weird part is Shiki built a single Langsneck and then stopped. I like the Langsneck idea, because then you can't build Musafadi warriors. And as long as there's one Langsneck here, it's going to keep him at bay. But once that one guy is gone, it's going to be very easy for Beasty to clean up.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful with that bad boy. You see a single swing of that Zweihander, and many of those Musafadi warriors are already damaged pretty heavily.
MarineLorD still delayed compared to his teammates. You can see he continues to invest in a knight, so he's not going to be ultra greedy. Instead, he's going to double down on feudal, and it's kind of crazy because it felt like Wuyu slowed down, and it means MarineLorD is now going to get the edge in terms of feudal aggression.
Yeah, you still have to be fast here if you're Flash and Shiki, because right now, you're relying on Wuyu to hold his own against MarineLorD. It's a 1v1 on the northern side, and you can't expect Wuyu to hold out against MarineLorD forever. So, you're on timer here.
Like, Wuyu doesn't really have the resources to keep up as it is, right? Like, I don't think he has any deer. He doesn't have any ball. That's the difference. MarineLorD got pocket resources. So this is just a losing battle for Wuyu. He can buy you time, but what you have to admit is if you don't do damage on the south side, in the next 2 to 3 minutes, Wuyu's position in this game is going to be untenable. Exactly.
And look at that. Knights are now shifting to the south from MarineLorD. He can spare a few. He's going to have a good charge in on the men-at-arms. And the archers coming in from Beastyqt, they picked off the Landsknechte. Right now, it's only one of them on the playing field for Shiki. So Mustafari Warriors will reign supreme.
Remember, this is a Burgrave build, so he doesn't really have the additional gold to afford mass Landsknecht. Every single one has to get his bang for buck. Luckily for them, it's just archers out here, so no javelin throwers adding in additional damage to try and counter out the melee boys yet. And until someone adds in crossbows, he will be somewhat comfortable, but it looks like DeMusliM is now arriving with the solution. This men-at-arms rush feels like it has done no damage, and it means that you are at risk of missing your timing if you're on the side of FYF.
Yeah, MarineLorD is doing a really good job just circling around with these knights. It's once again going to slow down that Burgrave build-up, and we talk about this a lot. With the Burgrave build, you have to hold out for the first few minutes. Once you have that, you're going to be in cost, so you're going to have a response to the men-at-arms flood. That's exactly what we're seeing from Demu. And the delay was enough here, apparently, to hold this off. And look at that. Now, Ottomans coming online here. The Imperial Armory working wonders for the Mangonels. You're also going to have multiple military schools working. Feels increasingly difficult right now for FYF.
Mustafari clashing right now. Men-at-arms are going to get wiped out. Javelin throwers are trying to make it a little bit better for him, but you just have no answer. Just so many raw numbers in favor of Beasty. Men-at-arms are going to be cut in half. And well, remember, behind this, like, what's their second layer? The Knights are mirrored out by MarineLorD. You've got the other player, your Martin, massing Javelin throwers, but for what? Mangonel's already on the way, so you don't have an answer there. This is getting incredibly scary for FYF. Remember, Chimps are already on match point.
Yeah, it's hard not to call a game early at this stage because those Mustafari Warriors, as you said, they just wiped out the men-at-arms. And now, look at the southern side. It's a 1v1 essentially. Northern side, 1v1 as well. And we talked about this a lot. Chimps will win dominantly if it's separate 1v1s. And now, it's essentially split up. Playing field has been split up. Northern side, now it's even going to be a 2v1 on a feudal age Wuyu. He's got 15 knights, but that's not going to hold. And if Flash shifts to the south to help Shiki, then Wuyu gets destroyed. If he goes to the north, then Shiki gets destroyed. It's pick your poison right now.
But whatever you pick, they're going to ram it down your throat. These javelins are starting to come out. Flash had to bring the whole army here, which means they now know that Wuyu is undefended, which is why DeMusliM has pivoted east side here. Knights will be able to match out what the other Roost counterpart is doing, and that does mean that DeMusliM will have the full edge. Those Fuddy Warriors are going to be into clash here, trying to wrap around and get access to Javelin throwers. Need to be careful of the Landsknecht. Nice micro to target them down, and Shiki, barely any Lanks in the formation. So at the end of the day, sure, you take out the Mustafaris, but you lose your entire army for it.
Yeah, this feels like a bittersweet battle over here for FYF. They cleaned this army up, but what's the price you pay for this? Look at the northern side in the meantime. You have Knights roaming around, Rams being set up by MarineLorD, and at the end of the day, Beastyqt got cleaned up, but Demu's army is still massive. Army from MarineLorD also pretty considerable, and they are about to double down and start hitting that hammer on the head of Wuyu.
It doesn't feel like a normal hammer anymore, right? It almost feels like a Super Mario hammer, right? I can just hear the music in my head going off. They feel invincible. Mustafari Warriors once again coming out for the party. And it is not a party that Shiki wants any part of. Men-at-arms never getting through this wall. Dives continue, now reaching into Flash's base as well. And keep in mind, Wuyu, he ran out of food. He had to go on the deer stacks, and MarineLorD found him.
Yeah, at this point, well, MarineLorD found him, but he isn't really putting up that much pressure towards that until the second battering ram comes in.
Yeah, they're coming in from multiple angles. The main base is being assaulted. Your food extension lines are being assaulted. Wuyu, he's just been thrown under the bus at this stage.
Yes.
And they're not really throwing a player on the bus on the other side. Like Beasty, he's content in saying, I'll handle this on my own. You do the rest.
For sure.
Clash coming out. Wuyu. Seems like a decent fight, but I mean, the Knight numbers are more or less neck and neck. So really, not that bad for MarineLorD to do, considering DeMusliM continues to dive into the main base.
Yeah, it's deceiving, right? You're gonna have an okay-ish looking trade here for Wuyu, but you have to keep in mind, this is all that Wuyu has to hold this off. MarineLorD traded off the Knights, sure thing, but down south, no use for this army right now for Flash and Shiki. They can't push deeper thanks to the Mangonels being out there. And on the northern side, DeMusliM is just going to steamroll the base of Wuyu right now.
Yeah, and then remember, MarineLorD, he had a second layer of knights. He didn't even commit to that fight.
Yes.
Those knights are now on the prowl, sniping out villagers, making their way into the back of Flash's base as well. And in the meantime, DeMusliM continues to clean house in the main house of the green. But, well, getting green of a different type, getting paid in the bank. We can already see MarineLorD is finally making his way up now with the high trade house. And at that stage, I mean, some people might think it's premature to go GG. I don't think it is. Your Roost player is about to die, and your opponent is about to make his way up into Castle Age.
Yeah, that Castle Legend, it's a high trade house in the corner. MarineLorD is doing it. I wonder if he actually chopped a little extra clearing for it, or he's just going for the standard placement, but that's going to be a solid...
I mean, 289?
Make your guess.
289. Actually, it's going to be high. It's going to be like
312.
324.
Okay, I gotta go 325 then. I need to say a higher number than you do.
You really don't like losing these, do you?
Yeah, I like
417.
That's 4 relics. Actually, more than 4 relics worth. Nowadays, it's 5.
It is. It's insane. Like, I swear they shadow buffed it. I'm becoming more and more convinced they shadow buffed it. Like, the number was not representing correctly before or something, because it's so much higher these days. But, yeah, just as one Roost Empire rises, another must fall. Of course, he will not be eliminated. Landmarks are shared across teammates, but for all intents and purposes, Wuyu has to feel pretty done in this game. Not much he can do anymore.
Yeah, and I feel that FYF was just a little disconnected in this one. As you said, it always felt like Wuyu was thrown under the bus, or previous game it was Shiki who had to take a premature fight because there was no support. And the positionings were just simply not there. They were forced to take so many 1v2s or just 1v1s even against players with such a level of individual prowess. And it didn't really work out. This time around, game plan seemed like they're going to double team the south, kind of go all in. Wuyu, go hold on your own until you can. But the push in the south didn't happen. It never worked. And then Wuyu eventually got overrun.
I mean, it shows you the value of walls, really. Those palisade walls slowed things down so much. I love the brilliant calm play by Beastyqt. Like, they couldn't quickly breach because you know only men-at-arms are coming. So just a few guys can repair that long enough while you get your initial Farimba garrison troops out. But, I mean, that was the difference maker. Like, if they get in, they start idling eco, maybe it looks slightly different for a game plan. Maybe they can follow through, but I've never once felt the impact of the HRE in this game. Like, it just feels completely irrelevant. It almost feels like it's becoming a bait in these 3v3 formats.
I agree with you. I think the big problem is that it's predictable in many ways. It's a strong build, but if you know what's coming, you can deal with it, and that's exactly what we have seen from Beastyqt's team. Mustafari Warriors holding off the initial waves and still contributing to great effect. And as much of a laughingstock the Mustafari Warriors were before this tournament, they actually start to become one of the most valuable team game units that a team can have on the field.
Yeah, I used to call them Musafani Warriors, but they're not so funny anymore. They're actually annoying to deal with. Like, the speed they have, the DPS exchange, the cost efficiency they offer you up. I mean, just look at them. They're relentless. You cannot run away from these units. It's absolutely brutal. And remember, Beastyqt is up in Imperial Age. These guys haven't even got their final little hat yet. Soon they're going to be elite, at which point these fights won't even look remotely close.
It's not a matter of who, it's a matter of when at this point. We're looking at a gigantic population lead for Beastyqt's team. As you said, Beastyqt is now up to Imperial, and they can just do whatever they want. They can just go capture the sacred site in the middle, wait 10 minutes, and automatically win the game. But you have the impression they don't want to do that. They just want to win by dominating the battlefield. Oh,
they're just, to quote MarineLorD, they're just full aping it. You know, they just... Why stop? Just non-stop aggression is all they need now. I mean, it's kind of slow because like their way of killing players is DeMusliM, right? And he has a static army, so it's a big map to cross. But no doubt they're just going to sweep player to player at this stage. It's very difficult. They honestly they would have to. I feel like one of them would have to have a heart attack and fall on their keyboard. Like just. And if you don't believe me, just look at the numbers. They speak for themselves. They're almost doubling in eco, and they're tripling up in military.
It's also 68 crossbowmen. It's a big enough mass where you really struggle to do anything against it, really. It's a good, versatile unit when you have a large mass of it. And now they capture the sacred site in the middle as well. So, at the very latest, in 10 minutes time, FYF has to do something miraculous to come back into this. But you really feel that this game is not going to last for 10 more minutes.
It's looking pretty Dunzo for them, funnily enough. The unit that we haven't really been seeing in this game. Finally started to come out a little bit for Flash, but it's not really going to do anything for him in the grand scheme. I mean, honestly, like, I'm just looking at the walls going up. It's almost like his Flash is like, I don't have a teammate. we ignore the HRE. That thing was a mistake. It never happened. Just wall it off. Pretend it isn't there. Like a stain on his family's legacy.
At this point, though, you give up on a teammate. They're just not tapping out because this is match point. But realistically, when you lose a teammate like that, and when you already are down 1 H compared to Beastyqt, there's just no way back. They won't let you boom for 10 minutes straight to make a comeback. It's 219 eco against 82, and there goes Shiki with his teammates. Dominant win by the Chimps over here, really. Great reaction to a somewhat predictable play coming out from FYF.
Yeah, FYF with no life left to give. I mean, the Chimps really did take all a vicious animal in the wild, if anyone's watched any documentaries. And they were hurling more than just feces at their opponent in this one. It just felt relentless, really. I love the way that MarineLorD kind of became the buffer point in Feudal Age, and they greeted out maximum on the other two. That timing match for the Marlin versus the HRE ensures the HRE player just like doesn't do anything. He gets hard like discounted by the composition from the Musavadi. Just a brilliant play overall to balance their economy, and that's what I want to see in these 3v3s. I'm very impressed with what Chimps are doing in these team formats. You know, there's kind of worry that maybe these stompers and 1v1s come in, maybe the Eagles get in the way, or maybe they just want to play their own game, and you easily forget about your teammates, but not these guys. These guys have got each other covered.